Coming up on Mountain News this morning, people across the Commonwealth begin casting their votes ahead of the official day for the midterm elections. And one Eastern Kentucky county prepares for a new business to plant its roots and bring jobs to the area.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Well, good morning, y'all. It's 6 o'clock here. I'm Dakota Makris. Good morning to you. Goodness, I don't know what I was going to say. Let's head over to Brandon. It is Friday. I literally had something to say, Brandon, but
don't scare me like that, because when you stop, I'm like, where is he going? What's going on?
You know, you never know what I'm going to say.
I got worried.
And I never know what I'm going to say because I feel like I had a story to tell or something, but you know, I'll think about it and I'll circle back.
When you paused, I was doing something over here. I was like, wait, what's going on?
When Dakota pauses, you never know.
Exactly. So let's talk about the forecast this morning as we head out the door. Fairly nice start to Friday, fairly nice start to the weekend, but some changes are on the way. Let's take a look at UVA-wise this morning, and you see clear conditions over there. You even see some stars out over there. 52 in Southwest Virginia this morning, but around it, 43 Clintwood, 45 Jonesville, 43 Middlesboro and Manchester at this point. Also Jacksboro, so they're in a race there for the cool spot this morning. On the other end of the scale, we've got Somerset at 55, Jackson, Prestonsburg, and Logan all at 57 now. Pikeville down to 56. A little extra on your coffee meter depending on your cold preferences. Some of you may like the cooler weather there this morning, especially if it's still in the 50s for you. But again, a lot of folks getting some light jackets this morning. In the next dozen hours, sunrise after 8 o'clock this morning, 8:01 officially. So that will change as we head into the weekend, as we set the clocks back an hour, but you'll lose an hour at the end of the day. So it's catch-22. But again, as we remove the donuts, lots of sunshine, get out there and enjoy it. Dakota?
All right, Brandon, thank you. No excuse early in-person voting for the midterm elections begin Thursday here in the Commonwealth. In one Eastern Kentucky county, at least 75 people voted just an hour after polls opened. Voters are eager to perform one of their civic responsibilities. Multiple county offices are up for grabs in Perry County. 3 candidates are running for Perry County attorney, while others are putting their name in the hat for jailer, among other offices.
I think everybody should vote. That's your right. So if you live in the United States of America, go vote.
At least 500 voters in Perry County have voted in the midterm election so far. That includes absentee ballots.
I look for more to be early voting than coming out on Tuesday. That's just my opinion.
And the voter I talked with at the Perry County Courthouse says she voted early for the convenience.
Not even 5 minutes. It was easy and quick. Just like being back in high school or in grade school, doing those little boxes. Just make sure you color them in good and scan that thing through there. When your little flag comes up, you're good to go.
Perry County Clerk Wayne Napier says some people impacted by flooding may have an issue heading out to vote.
Myself personally, I think probably the northern part of Perry County. Probably people won't vote. They're still trying to get their life back.
No excuse early voting goes through Saturday. In Perry County, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News. Polls open again today from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then they're open Saturday from 8 to 4. Of course, the early voting was just not here in Eastern Kentucky. Many people throughout the state were out and about to cast their ballots, and that includes over in Lexington. Many were satisfied with the process, saying it was both quick and efficient.
Because there is generational changes time to time, all the time. So if the young people come out to vote, the people my age and those that are older than me, then everybody's vote counts, and we know that. So if you come out and vote, you won't be displeased.
Another element that helped those voting was the ability to do some research beforehand and look at some sample ballots prior to casting a real one. On Thursday, lawmakers discussed felon voting rights here in Kentucky. Back in 2019, Governor Andy Beshear signed an executive order to restore voting rights for some felons. Now, it included those who completed sentences for nonviolent convictions. Advocates have since said more needs to be done. An interim joint committee met in Frankfort yesterday morning. Multiple groups were at the meeting, including the ACLU of Kentucky and Secure Democracy USA. And over in Martin County, voters came together to vote for a form in the fiscal courtroom to hear from the county's write-in judge executive candidates. Interim Judge Executive Lon Lafferty, Marlena Sloan, and Jimmy Dong Kerr. WYMT's Jordan Mullins was there and has more on the race for that position.
Following the resignation of former Martin County Judge Executive Colby Kirk, Governor Andy Beshear appointed an interim to take his place.
We have had a judge executive recently resign and take on a new position, and that created an opening. So our governor has appointed a judge as interim, but now it's time for us to let the people decide on who they want.
On Thursday evening, folks gathered to hear from the candidates in a race that will make history.
It will be the first time that we will actually elect our county judge executive by a write-in vote. So yeah, we're making history.
And decide for themselves who will best lead their county.
We wanted to bring these forums back, that way everybody would have a chance to not only pose some of their own questions, but to hear the questions that I have. That way they can decide on who is the right choice.
With absentee and early voting already underway, more than 300 Martin Countyans have already voted.
We had 6-day excused voting for someone if they weren't going to be in town on election day. And we had 150 people vote, and today we had 176.
And others are encouraged to come out and take part in the historic race. In Martin County, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
The Martin County Clerk says early voting at the clerk's office will be today from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday from 9 to 5. You can also call the clerk's office to find one of the 4 voting centers open 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Election Day. Well, during his Team Kentucky update yesterday, Governor Andy Beshear announced some major funding to help flood victims in our region. More than $84 million in grants have been approved for flood victims under the FEMA Individuals and Households Program. More than $55 million has been approved under the U.S. Small Business Association. And the Team Eastern Kentucky Flood Relief Fund has raised more than $10.5 million. More than 39,000 donors have pitched in to reach that total. And the governor also announced $4.1 million in awards from the Eastern Kentucky Safe Fund. That money will go to communities and public entities to support flood recovery efforts. Payments going out this week include $2.5 million to the city of Hazard to help ease financial strain, $26,000 to the city of Paintsville to fund the required FEMA match, and $130,000 to Paintsville Utilities to support the FEMA match, and nearly $1.5 million to the Pike County Fiscal Court to support the non-federal required match. Magoffin County officials are excited for new advancements at the area's industrial park after the governor's office announced plans for a business to pop up in the space by 2025. Our buddy Forbes has more about the plans for progress.
Magoffin County is preparing to power up its industrial park.
Base hits win ball games, home runs don't.
Announcing the first business with plans to post its operation in the Salyersville spot.
Means more jobs, means it's put us in the limelight that we can bring these industries into Eastern Kentucky and Magoffin County, and that we can support them.
Emerald Energy and Exploration Land Co. focuses on right-of-way land services and project management, a focus that is shifting its office from Prestonsburg to a new headquarters in the Gifford Road Industrial Park.
We're hoping that draws in more businesses, seeing that Magoffin County is a place to be.
The infrastructure-focused business is planning a $1.4 million investment to make Magoffin its home, which officials say will open up to 25 jobs in the area.
So those jobs will hopefully be those that will help our youth who are out getting college degrees have a reason to come back home.
The business also plans to conduct trainings out of the space, which Mayor Pete Shepard says will mean more people hitting the Salyersville streets.
Anytime you can get an industry to come in, whether they stay here or they come and go, it still means life for the economy of Magoffin and Salyersville, especially our businesses downtown and on Restaurant Road.
Planting possibility at the park.
When they make that the showplace of our industrial park, that's going to be a lure. It'll entice other businesses to want to be here too.
And giving the area the green light.
You got to get that first one before you can ever get the rest of them. And we're after the rest of them too.
For economic development in Magoffin County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, officials say the jobs created by the business will include benefits, with the average wage coming in at $20 an hour. Well, several schools are canceled for in-person classes because of illness this week, and yesterday another was added to that list. The Junior Buchanan School in Knott County announced it will also be closed today.
I actually knew about that one pretty quickly because one of the teachers was supposed to bring a group of kids over here from the school today and message like, hey, we're closing tomorrow. So they're rescheduled for next week. We'll get them in. Let's take a look at our forecast here as we approach 6:10. You see just a little bit of fog out there this morning. We are looking again as not as bad as yesterday. So again, saving grace across parts of the region there after kind of a rough morning yesterday for some. Let's take a look and see what's going on temperature-wise. 43 Clintwood, Manchester, Middlesboro, and Jacksboro. Those are the cool spots this morning. On the other end of the scale, 57 Jackson, Prestonsburg, and Logan. Your warm spots right now, mainly 40s and 50s. Some spots double digits warmer like Richmond and Somerset this morning. Everybody but Middlesboro a little bit warmer except for Wise. They're exactly where they were this time yesterday. Heading into the mid-70s today, maybe even upper 70s for some folks. The temperature's been overachieving a little bit here lately. Kind of a ominous sign for early November. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out in the long run, and we'll have the latest forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you. At 6:10, when we come back here on Mountain News this morning, the Department of Homeland Security ramps up efforts to address the threat of violence surrounding the midterm elections. Well, more on that in just a few minutes.